people said since 1987, when Michael Fish famously said, "Oh, there's nothing going on here." As far as I'm concerned, that they burned their bridges right there and then.
They certainly did. Yes, indeed.
It was funny watching a woman walking on Bourbon Street in Louisiana today, and there's like about 8 inches of snow everywhere.
Wow. Wow.
They have more snow in New Orleans than I have in Ontario and Canada. Go figure, eh?
Wow. That's mad.
Do they normally get snow there then, or is it an unusual event?
No, my friend Brian, who lives on a bayou, not far from there, he's never seen snow like this in 30 years. He was showing the bayou and showing snow everywhere. His girlfriend, Jamie from up north, she says, I threw away my ice scraper and snow brush when I came to Louisiana. I didn't need it, but now look at it. And they have snow everywhere there.
Wow. That's mad. That's funny, that is.
Hello to yeah, you don't have to say anything, but welcome.
Absolutely.
Right, Angie, ready?
Yeah.
Do you want to kick it? Do you want me to start the recording at this end?
That would be great. Thank you, sir.
And you do your thing at your end.
I'll do my thing at this end. Absolutely.
So, life is magic. And have you got a title for the show, or a theme, or subject matter?
Poem for Disting. Yes.
Not dusting.
No, only Disting.
Am I spelling disting as I think I should spell it? D-I, well, like dusting, but with an I.
Yep, exactly the same.
Yeah. So, right, life is magic, poem for disting. Right, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Awesome. 3.
Hello. So this amazing side. This poem, instead of it being called Invictus, which means invincible, by the way, it's Latin, he's called it Sol Invictus, which means sun, or it can mean God, invincible. So that's us. Yeah. So the idea being is that I'm going to read through it, and then I'm going to go through and kind of look at different aspects of it. Yeah. And I encourage people to, share how they feel when I've read it. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I don't know if I can see the comments on this thing that I've got here. I have no idea. But if you're on Telegram, obviously, and listening to the live show, then you can comment. So, without further ado, let me begin. So this is Soul Invictus by Mr. Ian Brunner. Out of the night that covers, pitch black and nothing to see, no glimmer of light is lit to guide my path so I can see. I thank whatever gods as the only light that will shine is thee. My soul they gave to me freely in the clutches of my greatest circumstances. I have not winced nor cried out under the constraints of the paradise unseen. With chance as my guide, my head is jostled and tugged, but never bowed. Behold this place, and of to create our summerlands, losing the feeling of trepidation, of the unknown, of the shadows created by an unbalanced hand. And with the awareness of no time, place, or space, no day, month, or year, only circles that appear, they find me unafraid. It matters not the process, just the fun of the game, and the outcomes signifying change. The freshness of new beginnings and the start of a new play. The gate is now opened by the Hiram key of love consciousness, non-dual in its approach, freeing me. I am not the master of my fate, just the observer of the twisting, turning, synchromistic journey of strangeness that abounds. But I am the captain of my soul. Sails as perception, awareness as the rudder, and imagination as the wind. Okay.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Kevin. So, number one, I'd like to know how that made you feel. Yeah, that's quite a simple question, really. How did that make you feel?
That anything is possible.
To explore a little bit more. Yeah, we're going to dive a bit deeper because that's what we do. So the first line, out of the night that covers, pitch black and nothing to see. No glimmer of light. See. Had a, you know, one letterbox. Stuff. So it's all, so if you have layers and layers of timelines on top of each other, then it's like wormholes. Wormholes are, you know, if you want to travel that far, so I've got a piece of paper in case you're not watching YouTube. So you want to get from A to B. Well, actually, if you bend the bit of paper, that's a much shorter distance to travel from A to B than it is, you know, through a wormhole than it is to go in a straight line. So that's how kind of how I'm seeing this now. So I say they'll put it through the letterbox, and just as I say that, it's coming through the letterbox. So that's how I'm seeing where we are right now in terms of, you know, this journey of being a being that is invincible, a being of light that is invincible, that has come from this place of the void space, which is love consciousness, which he mentions in this poem. So that's the place where we come from. It's where we go back to. It's where we actually, it's where we sit all the time. So in fact, that the idea if we come from there and we go back there, even that is, I'll question that, because if we're in it all the time, if we are sitting in infinite possibilities all the time, then we're not going anywhere. We don't come from it or go back to it because we're in it all the time. Boom. Anyway, I don't know if anyone has anything they'd like to say about that. Feel free.
Well, the sky's the limit, even with our frequencies. I think if we put limitations on ourselves,
yeah,
it's a limited fifth dimension, or, you know, there's all this talk of dimensions. Ooh, dimensions. It's just frequency. So, yeah, I think when we put, you know, only by our faith can we, you know, if we have the faith of a mustard seed, we can say to that mountain, be removed, and it shall be cast into the sea. But it's always about our faith that moves it, our faith that keeps us marching forward, no matter how many times we fall down. It's you know, perseverance. It's imagining creates our reality. We don't like our life today. Let's imagine it different and better and more fulfilling tomorrow or this next second even.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, isn't that amazing? I see a cardinal. Oh, I see a blue jay. Oh,
Absolutely. I like that. Anyone else have any thoughts on the idea of, you know, the void and what that means for you? No? Okay. I shall carry on then. So I thank whatever gods as the only light that will shine is thee. So what that's talking about, so all deity and even angels, you know, all those beings that people talk about in regard to ascension, all they are is aspects of yourself. They are facets. It's like I'm sitting here looking at a mirror ball. It has many little tiny mirrors on it. Yeah, facets. It's got many facets to it. That's how I see the being that we are. We have many facets. So, you know, if you want to connect to a deity, for example, that's let me just think of one. Call subscribe. Which um everything we experience through many different lenses, for want of a different way of saying it. So the creative force is what we call love consciousness, yeah, which is essentially the void. Yeah, it's that's the energy of the void is love consciousness. Yeah, because love is the big, expansive, creative energy. Yeah, so you with me so far? So if we are of the void, then it means that we are creators. Yeah, so we have created these circumstances in which our soul has these experiences. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense.
Yes, but I have more affinity to Thoth than I do to Ishtar.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm going with that. I mean, we have many deities we work with. Ishtar is her story is amazing. But yeah, Thoth is really cool. I like Thoth.
Well, the thrice great Hermes Trismegistus as well.
Absolutely, yes. Do you know that's the second time I've heard that in 2 days? There we go. There's another synchronicity right there. I love that. That is so cool. Okay, so it carries on. I have not winced nor cried out under the constraints of the paradise unseen. With chance as my guide, my head is jostled and tugged, but never bowed. So is Ian referencing what we call Summerlands? Some people would call heaven. You could call it Shangri-La. Or, that's a layer. Or, is this paradise unseen? An unrealized reality. So when you make a choice, you begin to create a timeline. It's like a ripple, yeah? So, okay. So if you are the void space, then all possibilities are there on the table, yeah? So you choose one, yeah? But you know there's others. You know there's other timelines. But choosing one in this incarnation, yeah, that is, so for a being that is vast, that's quite a compromise, isn't it? To choose one path in an infinite number of paths, yeah. So I think this is deeper than just choosing.
Continually evolves.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you can't, because we know there's an evolution taking place, yeah, of this being that we are. Yeah, we know that. But if you can't quite see where that's going, again, for a being that has all possibilities on the table, it's like you're blinkered. It's interesting. It's interesting. With chance as my guide, my head is jostled and tugged, but never bowed. So there's something inside of us that knows that this isn't the whole picture. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So
do you think our higher self leads us to where we need to go sometimes?
I do something called soul realignment, and I know that before we incarnate into this physical reality, the soul sees all possibilities, and it chooses the one dependent on, the negative karmic baggage you're carrying. It's going to choose the one that is the most aligned, depending on the distortions that you might be viewing things through. Does that make sense?
Yes, but I think we view less with distortion the more shadow work we do and the more we resolve our past.
Yeah. So your lenses, basically, if you think of it like you're looking through wonky glasses, yeah. So like you say, as you do that inner work, they get clearer. So not only do you see clearer, you see a bigger picture. Definitely. And it's that connection. So if you make that connection with the part of you that is bigger and sees everything, then absolutely, it will guide you on your synchromistic illuminated path 100%.
Like years ago when I was young, I delved into the Rosicrucians a bit, but I was too young. I was too young to comprehend what it was. Like I was still a teenager. But now that I've come full circle and I've been exposed to Dr. Robert Gilbert, who is a great teacher of the ancient Rosicrucian teachings. And he's a very, very wise man. But it's funny how I've come full circle where I'm very interested in the Rosicrucian teachings once again. And the ways of the
It goes on. It actually mentions some of this place. Land. You know what you just said. The amazing is programming. Agree. Set of skills to be able to deal with it, because it's, you know, it's quite intense at times, you know, with everything that's going on. So this unbalanced hand that Ian's referring to is definitely, you know, the things that we say, okay, yeah, you know, I'll go there. You know, I'll choose to do it, but you have to agree to. It's like the small print on the bottom. You know, you will have to go through some programming and then come out of the other side of that. Because what does it do? It unbalances you as a being. Yeah, it throws you off, and we had that today. So we're sitting here, you know, I was just about to make some cacao. We got this amazing ceremonial grade cacao, and I just made the oat milk, and Ian was doing some drawing. I'd finished my little bit of creativity that I was doing today, and all of a sudden our neighbour's gone out and her smoke alarms are going off downstairs. She'd left a pan on the stove, so we had to call out the fire brigade. I thought I was going to puke in the street. I was so my adrenaline was really going, because fire is not my you know, I love fire, but being caught in a fire, no. Why am I saying that? So what that did is it caused a vibration that it took us a good hour for that to subside, and then we went for a walk. We had our cacao, by the way. I was not going to let that distract me from doing that. So, you know, your vibration things in that kind of is to we went for a walk, whatever it is, and it decompresses you, and then you come back to your original focus, doing amazing, and you on your life. So that's a knowing that even when that happens, you come back to your center, to your path, however you want to describe that. Yeah, but that's the losing the feeling of trepidation. So even when something goes like that and it's trying to claw at you, yeah, you come back to who you are. Yeah. Yeah, that's like a bit ranty there, sorry. So yeah, I don't know if anyone has any comments on that kind of the kind of bounce back to who you are. There's a lot of houses around here that have constantly got their curtains shut all the time, curtains, blinds shut all the time. Yeah. So we figure that if people are reacting to the light, the light has changed. That changed in, I think that was 2020 on the solstice, 2020. I noticed something with the sun. So the light has changed, and the sun is, at solar maximum. It's doing amazing things at the moment, although they don't always feel amazing. So people are reacting to the light. So if you are walking around shining like the being you are, people are going to go, again, we had that the other day, people randomly hurling abuse at us as they went past in their car. It's like, okay, whatever. You either them do that and I'll just keep doing my thing. Thank you very much. So people they do get very triggered by when you're mirroring. If you want something that slightly muddies that mirror, Kevin, then Pracia light. If you wear Pracia light, it kind of muddies the image a bit. Because Ian has the same thing with people. It's like he's a big mirror, and they don't like it all the time.
I just consider it fun because I've been banned so much. It's just another badge of honor. Someone doesn't want to learn. They want to try and trigger me. He calls himself the trigger man, but I trigger him. But the thing is, we cannot accept bad behavior towards others. Or sex and some women just attack me. That's me doing.
Yes.
Way, you know, and you walk
Only circles that appear, they find me unafraid. So the circles I see, I think there are some sci-fi that explore this idea of creatures that are in the void space. But a couple of years ago, Ian got the being that lives in the void. There is actually a being that lives in the void, and it's called the, oh goodness, no, it's gone. No, can't remember. But the way it moves is constantly moving. It's never still, and it kind of creates spirals, if you like. Because we know what spirals are. They're a continuous circle. So that's how I see that. Hang on, no. Ooh, it nearly came in then. The name of the being. No. Orsin. Thanks, Ian. Orsin. Doesn't come through very often, but when it does, it gives very direct, precise information or knowings. So that's how I'm seeing that. The circles are the spirals as things come out of the void and then form matter, want a better word. I can't hear you, Ian. I still couldn't.
Funny name that, all sin. So without sin, we can get right by him, right?
It's also I'm trying to think how you Orsyn. Yeah, Orsin. And what's really weird about that is
salvation, you get by him, or sin if he stops you. That's the alternative.
So who out there remembers Mork and Mindy? Yeah. Do you name?
No.
This is Mork calling Orson. Come in, Orson. Probably spelled differently, but it's very similar, the word. And he was speaking to a higher being, was he not? Just a little thing in there. Yeah, so that's how I'm seeing what Ian's referring to there. So he's referring to the void space, and the, you know, as the being in that void space moves, and it creates, you know, the spiral, the energy spirals out and then becomes different thought forms.
A black hole, or the vortex that comes from the portal of where the energy me below.
Yeah. Is that's what you're creating from your heart. Is that conscious in this thing? On it. Right. Anymore. Well, and you put it somewhere. Have it.
Specific to that. In the
I like that. Signifying change, the freshness of new beginnings and the start of a new play. So you could take that two ways. You could either take that as a new play, as in playing on another ride, a ride that you actually want to be on, or you could take that, another layer, as a new play, as in, acting and the art of performance is the mystery school. What you learn as an actor, the craft, it's called a craft for a reason, because you learn, and I know this because I trained in that myself, you learn the art of being something else, being someone else, but you also learn, more importantly, how to come back to you at the end of it. And what do you get in a play? You have the actors, you have a script, you have the scenery, you have the props. So is that any different to what we are creating in our everyday life? I would say no, because I have many props around me right now. I have crystals, I have loads of cards everywhere, and I have a candelabra and paintings on the wall and curtains and lights and bits of paper and cameras and phones and lots of props. Yeah. But what I would say is, when you're in the void space, you don't need any of those props. You don't need scenery. You don't need any of that. When you are sitting in that silence, in that stillness, in the void space, none of that is relevant at all, which is really interesting.
Exactly. I have everything here, from harmonicas to drums and crystals, all kinds of things. Paint. I have paints and cards, bongo drums. So yeah, I'm always creating or banging on my bongos like a chimpanzee. That's the way I like it. Money for nothing and your chicks for free.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, the friends play separately. Way to it often actually. So just
to the so they say the age of Aquarius.
Mm.
So because of that transition of influences,
Mm.
or say we're being influenced not from Orion anymore, but more from the Pleiades, the seven sisters.
Yeah.
So I think as the influence of the seven sisters grows in Mother Earth, in among us, and the matriarchal divine feminine becomes more prevalent once again, or leading us into the golden age of mankind, or together. I always feel it's going to be together, man and woman, not one over the other, but beside each other.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
as equals, not
Yes.
as one dominating the other, but as complete and valued equals.
Yeah, definitely.
Totally agree with that one.
Cool.
It's this love consciousness.
Mm.
And I hear people talking about it all the time.
Yeah.
Over the last sort of 4 or 5 years, it's become more prevalent.
Mm.
And the thing is that if you're shackled, if you're bound by things that distract, all things are equal, all beings are equal, men, women, you know, the animal kingdom, the trees, the sky, the stars. If we're all equal, then to see that love consciousness, you have to lift that veil. You have to break those shackles that stop you from seeing that love consciousness.
Yeah.
And they're all man-made. This is the thing. They're all man-made. The shackles that bind are all influenced and inflicted by mankind on itself.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, I mean, this last bit kind of says that I am not the master of my fate, just the observer of the twisting, turning, synchromistic journey of strangeness that abounds. So that's kind of saying that. But then I am the captain of my soul, sales as perception, awareness. Sorry?
I was going to say, if everybody did their work from within and ignored all the influences from the without, all the books and the doctrines and everything else, if everybody simply looked from within, there would be no more war, there would be no more poverty, there would be peace everywhere, because everybody would realise that we're all the same. We're all coming from the same place from within, but we are manifested in a physical form on the without. And that is the fun. That is the game, because we can play on this playground of life on Earth.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. Sometimes I couldn't get through to my one friend in Kentucky, 77 years old, you know, staunch. But I could never, he was very rigid in his, you know, his beliefs. Yet recently he just joined a new channel that I'm a part of that I hope will just open up his mind from other people besides me. You know, he's known me for too long and he's seen too many changes in me to really take me as, I don't know, the same as him, and yet I love this guy like a brother, yet there's certain divisions between us because my belief has evolved somewhat. So I'm hoping his involvement in this new group, he's 77 years old. It's harder for people to change when they're older. But I'm hoping from other sources he becomes more enlightened to see the truth of the Lord, the message of the Lord, which is just love and sending back to and knowing the kingdom. I think video ignorant at how people are to hearing the truth, because the message was true.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who's delivering the message. And I've used this before. If the devil himself jumped up out of the ground and spoke the truth to you, would you dismiss the truth just because it was the devil that spoke it to you?
Yeah.
And then it's like, no, you listen, and it's like, oh, no.
Yeah. What is it they used to say? Don't shoot the messenger.
Don't shoot the messenger. And I just was flabbergasted at these comments. And on the one hand, I can kind of understand, you know, there might be a backlash towards AI algorithm control of digital and verbal things, etc., visual.
Yeah.
Message. Completely missing the message.
Yeah.
And it was, and I thought to myself, you know, what they were describing, I thought, well, I sort of came to that conclusion, or that reality, or that awareness, that enlightenment, when I was about 40 years old. And you focus your energy on the things that matter. Don't waste your energy on things that don't.
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
your life.
David Icke has been persecuted by the government of England, probably
persecuted by everybody.
The whole country.
Yeah. Of knowledge. Everything.
On the show. Yeah.
But within a short period of time, we're still looking at each other and thinking, this film's not what we came in to see.
Just a bit.
Totally went over our heads. But it wasn't until I was 18 and I was at college and I was studying computer science, and I was in there was a group of us in there, and someone suggested that we go to a Rocky Horror theatre.
Yep.
Thing, not the cinema, but in a theatre. Well, it blew me away, because I was thinking back to when I was 12, 13 years old, sneaking into cinema and thinking, yeah, this is a wacky, silly horror film. Yeah. And I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed myself. I had a great time when I was 18 and I was in this theatre. And that comparison and what Kevin said earlier about the way that you'll see things when you're young and when you see things the same, but later on, you observe that differently. You have a different experience, and that is paramount in a lot of things, because you'll see things visually and emotionally and spiritually when you're young. And it's completely different.
Yeah.
And the other one, you'll like this one, Angie. The one phrase that I always pops in my head all the time, ever since I heard it, was the very young do not always do as they are told, which is a line from Stargate.
Oh, okay.
When they were interacting with the Nox, the woodland creature type.
Yes.
People.
Yes.
And they wanted the Stargate team wanted more knowledge, and Nox would say no, because you're not ready. You know.
Yeah.
We can see what you're doing. We're a lot more involved than you. So we can see more than you, because we're further on that. And you're the 18-year-old watching Rocky Horror Picture Show, not we're not the 12-year-olds. You're the 12-year-olds watching, and that always sort of triggers in my mind when people like Kevin said what he said then about that. I just think, that the very young do not always do as they are told.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we evolve. We are the very young. And so we evolve into the not the very young.
Yes.
Anyway, I'll shut up there. That's me done.
That's okay. That's what this was about. I wanted to open it up. But it's just the last bit that I really like. So I said, I am not the master of my fate, just the observer of the twisting, turning, synchromistic journey of strangeness that abounds. So, obviously the synchromistic journey looks like magic, because it is, because everything is magic. But realizing that you are the captain of your soul. You are this being that is bigger and sees everything. You are just a little, you are a fractal of it, if you like, a little bit of a fractal of it. With sails as perception, awareness as the rudder, and imagination as the mind. I love that. So I'm going to take.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that's all right.
I just thought of The Pilgrim's Progress by Paul Bunyan. An amazing book of continuous challenges, but he just kept going along his hero's journey until, he met with God, I guess, at the end.
Yeah, and I think that's the path that we have chosen, or we've been chosen for, or that we went, okay, I've got the skills, so I'm going to do it. I like that version, actually. You had to have a certain set of skills to be able to come here, incarnate into a tiny little thing compared to what you normally exist as, and go, I can do that. That's that's godlike, is it not? Or goddess-like. But I just want to say thank you to Ian, because he
there's nowhere does it say there's only one.
No, absolutely. So I just want to say thank you to Ian because he is dyslexic, and to write out. So I'm just I'll share this picture in the Telegram group, but I'm just showing it on camera. So he wrote this out twice, actually, on a piece of paper, and then he did the artwork with it as well. So to write the poem and then write it out. amazing. So thank you, Ian. He's in the other room. So does anyone have anything that they'd like to share at all on what we've kind of discussed? Because I think it's an amazing piece of art. It's an amazing piece of literature, and it really makes you think about your journey. I think it does anyway.
Can you share that on the wall, Angie?
That's exactly what I was going to ask, Erin.
I will share it in the group. Yes, I will do that.
And the other thing as well is that that Jack is starting a calligraphy pen pal club very soon.
Oh, is that what it is? It's about calligraphy. I love calligraphy. I spent many years doing calligraphy.
Well, I don't know how it's going to evolve or how it's going to eventually end up, but the basic premise is that, like a traditional pen pal club, where you would write a letter and then stick it in the post box and send it off to somebody.